Hello students, welcome back to another tutorial arranged by Childcare School and College. Today in this video we're going to learn how to solve the questions on narration of interrogative sentences. We're going to do this based on the previously learned videos. So let's jump in. So before we go straight into solving questions, let's look at some basics regarding modal verbs. That is, in the direct speech, if you see that you have the verb can, whether it's a question or an assertive sentence, we will change it into could. Well, that's mainly based on the reporting verb, if the reporting verb is in the past tense, as you remember. So if you find could, it can't go any further back or in the past tense, so it will remain as it is. Will turn into would, which we call the future in the past. Would will remain as it is. Shall will become would. That's because shall and will actually share the pretty much the same meaning. So we will take would for shall. Next, should will remain as it is. May will turn into might, the past form of may. Might will remain as it is. And the verb have to, which is a semi-modal, have to will become had to, and the modal verb must will also become had to. That's because must and have to have the pretty much the same meaning. So must doesn't have its own past tense, so we're gonna use have to and turn it into had to. Same for the must. So let's see further. So when you're changing direct speech into indirect, if someone asks another person a question and the person responds in yes or no, we don't exactly say that he said yes or anything. We rather say replied in the affirmative, or you can use a shorter version of it, replied positively. That's the way to approach to yes and no. So for no, we're going to use replied negatively, or you can alternately use replied in the negative. That has pretty much the same meaning. So if you find somebody is apologizing by saying sorry, we rather say apologized, like X apologized to Y. Okay. And if you find somebody is thanking another person, we would say someone thanked the other person, like X thanked Y. Okay. Okay. When changing direct speech to indirect, sometimes you find something like this. Like Peter said, I am sick, I need to go. Here Peter, the same person, is talking about two things, like he's speaking two sentences. In this case, what we do is we would say it like Peter said that he was sick and added that he needed to go. Okay, well, basically in English literature, what happens is that you don't actually find straight sentences like this all the time. Sometimes you find different sentences which are something like this. I am sick, I need to go, said Peter. It could have been like that. Again, sometimes you find the speaker in between the two sentences that he said at the same time, like I am sick, Peter said, I need to go. So these two sentences are said by the same person, that is Peter. This is because this thing is applied by the literaturist to make it more interesting. That's it. So now we will solve an indirect speech to direct speech. And here we have an exercise that says, Paul said to Anna, "What are you busy?" And here you can see an exception that one quotation ends here and another quotation begins. And by this, you should take it that this is said by the other person in the scenario. So Paul says, "Are you busy?" Yes, I am busy. So it has to be Anna. Well, we already have it right here. Said Anna. So for this, what I'm going to write is, since it's a question, I'm going to write Paul asked Anna. Now, let's think about the things that we have learned previously. It says, are you busy? Well, I hope you remember that this one is actually a yes-no question. And for yes-no question, I'm going to put if, since Paul wants to make sure that if Anna is busy or not. So if, and for this auxiliary verb, we're going to put this behind the subject. So for the pronoun you, we're going to use she, because the pronoun you refers to the person Anna. If she, and for are, we can say that for she, the auxiliary verb would be is, and the past of is was. If she was busy. Okay, so here we have it. Paul asked Anna if she was busy. Now let's see what Anna says. Anna said that, yes, I'm busy. So we're going to write. Now you've just seen that if anybody responds in a yes or a no, we are going to say replied in the affirmative or negative, depending on the answer. Replied in the affirmative, or you can also write replied affirmatively or replied positively. In the affirmative, that, since she has something more to say, what she says is, yes, I am busy. So we're going to write, Anna replied in the affirmative that. For the pronoun I, I'm going to write she because it's the person Anna, she, and the past form of the be verb for she would be was. So here we have it. Anna replied in the affirmative that she was busy. Now let's go further. What are you doing? Said Paul. Just like I said, sometimes you might find the speaker sitting behind the speech. So, Paul says, what are you doing? So we're going to write it as Paul asked, or we can say Paul again asked, since he's asking two questions simultaneously. I mean, it would not be a mistake if you just write Paul asked, but it would be wise to add the again, because it makes more sense and it makes your answer more interesting and attractive. Paul again asked. Now you must remember that this one is a WH question, as we have learned in the previous video. So for the WH question, we don't use anything like if or anything. We just simply put the interrogative pronoun, which turns into the relative pronoun. What, and after that we have pretty much the same structure as like a yes/no question. So what we do is put the auxiliary verb behind the subject. So you is again the same person, that is Anna. So what she, and for the auxiliary verb are, we're gonna use the one that matches with she, which is, and the past form of is already was. What she was doing. Now we have it. Paul again asked what she was doing. Now let's see what Anna says. Anna said that I am doing my homework. And this one is an easy one. So instead of saying Anna said, we will again use Anna replied, since it's a reply to a question. Anna replied that I is the same person as Anna. So I'm going to write she. Am doing is a present continuous tense. We're going to turn into was doing. My homework. So by the word my, we understand it's Anna, and it's the possessive form of the pronoun. So we're going to also write possessive form of she, that is her homework. Okay, so we have it. Anna replied that she was doing her homework. Okay, let's go further. Let's see what Paul says. So Paul is again asking a question, which is, Paul asked, can you help me with my homework? So Paul is trying to make sure if she could help him. So it's a yes/no question again. So we're going to use if. Paul asked if. So for the verb can, as you remember, we will turn it into could, and the pronoun will sit before. The auxiliary verb will go behind the subject. If she can will become could, and help me will be, so me is the person Paul, so we're gonna say him. That's the objective form of the pronoun. So it will be, if she could help him with my homework. It's again the same person Paul, and this is the possessive form of the pronoun. It will become the possessive form for he, which is his, and the rest is here. So Paul asked if she could help him with his homework. So we have our indirect speech here written down below. Now Anna said, yes, I will be glad to help you. So we can write this as, Anna replied in the affirmative, since she says a yes in the beginning of the sentence. Anna replied in the affirmative that, what she says further is, I will be glad to help you. So the person I is actually Anna, as we know. So the subjective form would be she will be glad. So you remember that will turn into would, which we call future in the past. She would be glad to help. Now the person you is Paul, and it is in the objective form, so we will write him. So Anna replied in the affirmative that she would be glad to help him. We have our answer. Now lastly, Paul said thank you. So here again you have the speaker sitting behind the speech. So thank you is what Paul said, and as we remember that if anybody says thank you in the direct speech, we don't say it just like them. We say that Paul thanked Anna. So that's what we will write down. So that's the end of the question, and we have our answer here. In near future, you will see more videos where I will be solving more questions depending on the lessons we will learn. So I hope you found this lesson helpful. There will be more videos uploaded soon, and there will be more question solving like this. I urge you to take notes on everything that you learned today in the video. Subscribe to our channel and stay connected with us through our social media and our Facebook page. Share this video with your friends, family, and your classmates. I will catch you in the next video very soon. Goodbye.